Toes of what I'm about to say. Some of y'all got some big feet. You know, black people got some big feet. I want to first thank Brother Palmetto Star and Too Raw for TV for organizing this event. I want to give him a black hand. Give him a black hand. He put this together. And I want to thank those who have worked with the brother in order to ensure that this would be a successful event that it is today. So anybody who helped out, I might not know your name, but I want to thank you. I'm very glad to be here. I'm very glad to be here. I also want to thank Jsyi and the Black Hebrew Israelite community for allowing us to use this facility in order to have this event.
Right.
Give him a black hand. Even though he wasn't here today, still give him a black hand. I want to thank the performers, and I want to thank the speakers before me. The sister dropped some fire. I hope that resonates with everybody's soul. I want to thank the yoga and the healing performance. Powerful, brother. Powerful. Health is wealth. That's clear. The brother, you can tell that he's more flexible and limber than most of us that are younger than him. In a way, it's remarkable and amazing, but in another way, it's a goddamn shame. We need to step our game up, man. There's no way that this brother should be outdoing us with his flexibility. Say that. He's going to make it to live as long as he has. Give that brother another black hand. I want to thank the elder and ask him permission for my dissertation tonight, because he's been in this for 50 years. So I want to get his permission to speak. And I also want to let him know that his 50 years is not in vain. We will not be in vain. We will make you proud of the investment of your time and your energy in the black race and black community, for sure. So I want to thank you for that 50 years that you put in, and thank you for your permission to speak tonight. It's always a pleasure to have the elders among us, to have the spirit of what we're doing. I want to come to you in the spirit of Malcolm X, because that's what this is. It's a Malcolm X Day celebration. So I call on the spirit of Malcolm X. I don't know why we didn't do a libation. We should have had a libation today for the ancestors. But maybe it won't be too late. We can have a belated libation. But I want to call on the spirit of Malcolm X, Brother O'Ωωł, Brother Malik Shabazz. I want to call on his spirit, and I also want to call on the spirit of the Honorable Khalid Abdul Muhammad, which is one who came after him, that was a bold and black man that brought even more fire and continued the work of Malcolm X. So I call on their spirit tonight with the dissertation that I'm going to give you tonight. I want to break some myths tonight, and I really want to touch on some very serious things. For one, the significance of the individual is very important. The significance of each person. We sometimes want a full room. We came to this event and we wanted it to be packed all the way out. We had a very nice turnout today, but we wanted people all around the building. We wanted it to go from here all the way down to Cecilia's restaurant, the line for people to get in here. We wanted not a seat to be left empty. But let me talk about the significance of the individual, because if we look at the life of Malcolm X, we see the profound impact that one person can have. Yes. And a lot of times we talk about revolution, we talk about unity, we talk about the collective, we talk about coming together, but we never put emphasis on the profound impact that an individual can have. Each one of us is an individual that can have the profound impact that Malcolm X could have. But a lot of times we are always waiting on unity. We're waiting on other people. We're waiting on somebody else. We're waiting on the crowd. We want to get lost in the masses of asses. We don't want to stand up and be challenged as an individual to have a profound impact on society and our community. Our impact is important. We want to put it on the youth. We want to tell the youth are going to save us. It's the youth generation. I hear them all the time, passing the ball. You still alive. But passing it on to the youth. And the youth are going to be examples of what you do. And if you sat around and did nothing with your life, let me tell you what's coming after that. Let me tell you. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. The youth are not going to save us. Only we can save us. So we can't just pass it on to the youth. We have to stand up and do something. When you look in other countries and you see revolutionaries fighting, they're fighting of all ages. You got senior citizens strapping bombs to themselves in Iraq. Am I right?
Yes.
In Syria. You got senior citizens and older people stepping out. But today, we get old too quick. We give up too damn quick. And we pass it on to the youth and expect them to do something, not realizing the profound impact of every single individual. So that individual has to look in the mirror and challenge themselves and say, is this going to be the day? Is this going to be the moment where I stand up to make a profound impact? The individual has to do that. You can't keep using the excuse of lack of knowledge, of lack of information, of lack of support, of lack of resources, of lack of finances. You can't use that excuse, because Nat Turner didn't use that excuse. Harriet Tubman did not use that excuse. So how long are you going to keep using that excuse? We can't wait on our politicians and political change. It's not coming. It's going to come from the profound impact of the individual to step up and say, this is the day that I'm going to step up and make a change. This is the day I'm going to step up and represent something. And that can come from any age parameter, any age group, any gender. It can come from any individual that have enough compassion and heart for the people to stand up for what is right and what is just for the freedom and liberation of black people. And that's what you are challenged to do. That's what each individual is challenged to do. So we have to realize the profound impact that we can have as an individual. We can't keep hiding behind slogans. We got the red, black, and green flag. The red, black, and green flag is not going to save you. A flag must be held. The principles of a flag must be stood for by somebody. And if nobody ain't standing for it, I don't care how many people are waving the flag, it's irrelevant, it's insignificant. Some people are waving a flag, but their land has been taken over. They don't have an army, they don't want to stand for nothing. They have bowed down and acquiesced and submitted to imperialism and white supremacy, but they're still waving the flag. The flag don't mean nothing. You rocking the colors and having the logos and the symbols and DVD collections and books and all that don't mean a damn thing if you ain't gonna stand for nothing. That's the reality. At some point, you must stand for something, and you can't look for somebody else and look to the next person and see how deep I sound to the person standing next to me, and how much impact or more knowledge or jewels I can drop on the person that's standing next to me. It's irrelevant. Look in the mirrors. Look up tomorrow and see, can you confront the person that either want to have a profound impact over society or not. You have to confront that person yourself. We have to get beyond our egocentricness and trying to look good and our sensationalism among others and be willing to stand up for something and sacrifice and have devotion and give our lives if necessary for what we stand for. And every moment is an opportunity for that for you. Every moment. I'm going to simplify this thing for you. A lot of you want to know what books to read, what information to get into. You just simply need black love. That's the one ingredient that you need. That's the only damn ingredient that you need. You gotta have black love. Because if you love your people enough, you won't look for an excuse not to stand up for the injustices that's happening to them today.
That's right. That's right.
Love will make you do something. A book will make you sound deep. A diet will fill your stomach. But only love will make you stand up for your people. So the number one ingredient that you have must be black love. It must be a dying black love, an undying black love. It must be an unconditional black love. That you believe that your people deserve human rights, respect, and dignity and rulership in this day and time, no matter what. No matter how much education they have, no matter what religious background they have, whether they're Hebrew or Muslim or study Kemetic science, it don't matter. But just the fact that they're black, they deserve your respect and justice in the society, and you're willing to stand up for that. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. And we need to resurrect a black movement that's based on blackness and being black in and of itself. Period. Because we've been divided by all our concepts and all our ideologies and doctrines and our perceptions and our frameworks and our paradigms have divided us. And the enemy takes advantage of our confusion. And while we're disunified, they move on us with perfect tactical unity and order and structure in order to destroy us. While we're sitting around debating and arguing and playing knowledge masturbation games, they're tactically organizing against us. That's a fact. We must stop sensationalizing this and become real. Willing to stand up and give our lives. Do security. Stand on posts. Don't be afraid to go to jail. Some of you wondering, when is this going to happen? When is this going to happen for me? When is this going to happen for us? Right now. There's no other time. Tomorrow's not guaranteed to anyone. Do y'all hear me? Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Any of us can drop dead. I don't care how many damn kill sentences you need. You can drop dead tomorrow. Huh? So when you going to stand up?
Now.
When can you stand for something?
Right now.
That's a fact. Fred Hampton didn't make it past 25.
All right.
You hear me? Mark Clark even younger. But they stood for something that we're aware of. Here it is, we've been studying for 40, 50 years and we ain't stood for nothing for one day in our life. Ain't something wrong with that picture. The only time that we can stand up for something is right now, is today. The only time we can remove the fear from our hearts that make us scared of our enemies is today. You can't remove that fear tomorrow. It's not coming. There's no meditation, no practice, no spirituality. If you're a coward today, goddamn it, you're going to be a coward tomorrow. Ain't no escape for that. Ain't no smoothie you can drink. Ain't no super elixir. If you're a goddamn coward, you're a damn coward. And your enemy know a coward when he see one. And that's why they keep punking us as a race and a nation. Because we have become a race of cowards. How can a force that is cowardice stand up against an institution that's willing to give its lives to oppress others? Do you hear me? When we talk about the police department, we talk about an institution that's willing to give its lives for the oppression of black people. They're willing to get out and sacrifice their lives to make sure we stay under martial law. But we talk to our black nationalists. We talk to our black conscious community. How many of you all are willing to give lives to create the reality we want to have? It's simply a question of that. It's simple as that. We don't have the integrity. We got the t-shirts, the costumes, the koofies, but we don't have the integrity. Some of us have become event junkies. We want to go to an event, but we don't want to become the legendary event of true social change for the masses of our people. When will you become the legendary event for the change of the masses of our people? So I challenge us today to put down our slogans, our ideology, and our sensationalism, and stand up, have true love. True black love for your people. One thing that all of our leaders had, no matter how different their ideologies were, whatever their religion was, one thing that we know the leaders that are worthy of speaking their names had in common was black love and black compassion for the masses of the people. We gotta have that. That's the essence of the type of leadership that we need. Because there's going to be a risk. A lot of us are scared of drones. Do you hear me? Scared that we're going to get attacked by the white man. If we build something of our own, they're going to come and get us and send in SWAT to the FBI, CIA, and Homeland Security. What's going to make you stand up to the risk, though? Because the enemy knows when he comes to your community, he can lose his life. Every day, am I right? And does that stop him? No. So why should the fear of us losing our lives stop us from black nationalism? The so-called African American community is larger than other Afrocentric or African communities with smaller numbers. We match the population of Cubans. We have one of the largest spending powers in the world, right? But what do we have to show for it? Our problem is not economic. Our problem is lack of heart.
That's right.
Bottom line. Poor people have more freedom than Negroes in America. Do y'all hear me? Yeah. Poor countries have more liberty and freedom in their country than we do. That's a fact. I saw many people step on the American flag today. I have no problem with you stepping on United States imperialism. But don't step on the fact that this is your country and this is your land. And you need to step up and rule it. Do y'all hear me? Because we ain't going no damn where. Ain't nobody buying plane tickets to Africa fast enough. Talking about we going to Africa. I don't see nobody. How many people got a ticket to Africa in their pocket? Because Negro, you probably ain't going nowhere.
Africa right here.
So if you ain't going no damn where, you need to man up right here.
That's right.
Y'all hear me? But we use that as an excuse. We need to go back to Africa, you know, in order to change our condition. Let's leave America. But I don't see us leaving in busloads. So until we start leaving in busloads, we're going to have to stand up and defend where we're at right now. That's a fact.
That's right.
So I'm glad the brother took the red, black, and green flag and fly it over the American flag. Because you know what that means? That means we're conquering American imperialism right here. Conquering it. We're stepping on white supremacy in our community. There's no excuse of where we are heavily populated that our community should be run by foreigners. As intelligent as we say we are, as learned as we say we are, as much skills as we have, why are the enemy controlling our community? You can talk to me about gardening, you can talk to me about buying land, you can talk to me about spirituality, metaphysics, but if you can't talk about controlling your own community, you're not talking about anything. Because anything that you do, he's going to take it from you unless you get control. Am I right? That's why he's destroyed every community that we have. They say, why are you talking about this, all this militancy that you're talking about, that we need to be militant? Because every other way has been destroyed. Every other method that we have tried. We got our own land, our own communities. How many of our communities have been destroyed and taken down? Dr. Malachi York. Yahweh. How many communities have we destroyed? You cannot have a community until you have black militancy. You cannot, because what is going to defend that community? What does that community stand on? We get so off into these other ideas that we get off of security, and that's when the enemy runs in, right there.
That's right. That's right.
We get so damn metaphysical, so spiritual, so healthy, that now we go from doing push-ups in the yoga center to doing push-ups in prison. Huh? And we fill up what? The prison population, the prison industrial complex, which is a new form of black slavery. Because we didn't have the type of militancy to protect and defend our own community, defend the youth in our community.
That's right.
A lot of people talk about us fighting the white man and fighting the devil. But certain militancy will back their ass off before the fight. Don't nobody want to get their ass whooped. So certain types of militancy will prevent the type of stuff that we saw in Baltimore. When the people have to come to the point of insurrection, that means they had no militant strongholds in their community. So they have to go into hysteria to try to restore justice for themselves within their community. But if they already had a certain level of militancy, the devil would already lose place.
All right.
Our objective since we're here is to take over the West End. We must make a strong statement in the West End today. I'm not talking about next year and after we organize 4 or 5 more rallies. This is a challenge for each and every individual to have the fire and the energy of the ancestors upon their shoulders in this moment in time. That we take over the West End today. And that the West End feel our desire to control and rule our own destiny as a people. Certain people are getting shot down and killed in the streets. Are you? Because they're not doing this. They're not standing up to show spirit before something happened. What we're doing today is not reactionary. What we're doing today is proactive. Nobody got killed in the West End, but I bet if they see how we move today in it, nobody will. Do y'all hear me?
Yeah.
When they see the fire that we're putting over here, I bet you they know we don't kill no youth in the West End. They're going to tear this goddamn city up. Because we're prepared to tear it up before it happened. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Don't wait till you get killed. Don't wait till one of us get murdered. Don't wait till one of us have to die and then think we're going to do something about it. Stop them before they kill us. We know they're hunting us down as prey in the streets, right? They're hunting us down in the West End. Look at the foreign occupation. They're hunting to criminalize us, to put us in their justice system. They're hunting to put drugs on us and to racially profile us, right?
Yes, sir.
They're hunting us today. That's their job. Some people are mad and upset and bewildered and discombobulated at the death of black youth by the police. Their job is to kill. Kill first, ask questions later. That's their job. That's what they do, kill you. They're coming to neutralize any type of resistance against white supremacy by any means necessary. Do you hear me?
Yes.
That's what they're coming for. And they have a license to do it. And some of you saying, well, they didn't have to kill them. They could have just maced them. They could have just tased them. But you think they don't want to neutralize a potential threat to them immediately and instantly? Why should they let that go on? It sounds logical to you to just tase them and get it under control, right? But they know that this person is going to be a continuous resistance to them. Ongoingly. So their object is to neutralize that resistance now. That's how they operate. And you can't stop something if you're not willing to understand how it operates. You think it's just making some mistakes. Or they're just a few bad cops, right? Or they just hyped up or geeked, or they don't understand the law, understand how to enforce the law. No, they come to neutralize any resistance to United States imperialism and white supremacy. That's a fact. Crazy people talking about somebody retarded or with a mental illness was killed, they gave them a death sentence. The police are in a position to give your ass a death sentence. They come to issue out a death sentence if necessary. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
And they have that call. They have that call. And they will continue to do it until they realize that there are consequences to it. And the consequences is not coming from their white supremacist brethren within the institutions. It's coming from compassionate people on the streets that care about their people.
Yes.
When they realize that it's coming from that, then they'll check them. Then they'll put them in their place. And that's what we got to get to. We got to get to that type of raising level of militancy where we're ready to deal with them. But we got to know our community.
That's right.
We got to know the streets. We got to know the alleys. We got to know the abandoned buildings. We got to know the crevices.
That's right.
And we got to be willing to stand up as a military. We got to really become militant. And some people say, well, you're going to become militant and they're going to kill you. Look what they did to Black Panthers. Look what they did to MOVE. They're going to kill you anyway.
That's right. That's right.
They didn't kill Trayvon Martin because he was militant. They didn't kill Eric Garner because he was militant. They didn't kill Mike Brown because he was militant. They didn't kill Freddie Gray because he was militant. They didn't kill Walter Scott because he was militant. They killed him because he was black and because he wasn't militant. Because if he was militant, he'd have killed them first. Do y'all hear me? Take your time. He'd killed them first. So don't be afraid to be a militant.
That's right. That's right.
Because they're coming for you anyway. And either you're going to lay down or you're going to lay them down.
What?
That's a reality. That's a reality. So we must have a rising militancy. And I think that this event is to represent the militancy that Malcolm X had. Malcolm X was very militant. He said by any means necessary, but a lot of times we don't know what that means.
Right.
We don't know what any means necessary means. Because we got too many political prisoners in jail to understand what any means necessary is. We got a whole conscious community of revolutionaries and radicals, but we got nobody. Conscious and trying to get knowledge of self. But what does knowledge of self mean if it's not empowerment? We want to be able to do believable and unimaginable things. But where does it start? It's not practical. We have to become practical. When you become great in the knowledge of who you are, then you should be able to exercise that in the world. There's no reason many of us should be becoming more and more conscious and more empowerment and more knowledgeable, but that's not being practically shown in our ability to change our immediate circumstance.
That's right.
All of our knowledge of self have shown is us to be better consumers. Am I right?
That's right.
We can consume more products. We can get more dashikis, more incense, more oils, more shea butter,
That's right.
more books. But when does that power become a power that can be seen in our ability to immediately affect the negative condition that we're in? Our knowledge means that we're deeper than each other, but it doesn't give us the courage or the empowerment or the self-esteem to go out in the streets and to mobilize our people. Do you hear me? And put the spirit in them to change the condition that we live in the world today. Many are not going to believe the power that we have. Many of them are not going to believe it. But when they see us doing it, then they'll step up. Because if we're just trying to get them to believe, we ain't nothing but a church. True gods and goddesses can exemplify the power that we have. That's a fact. Many of us want them to believe. Brother, I want you to get this knowledge. I want you to get this information. I want you to wake up. Show them what waking up looks like.
That's right.
The Black Panther Party, I studied them. A lot of success that they had was they went out and did it. People saw them with the guns. People saw them standing against the pigs.
That's right. That's
right? And that inspired people to say, we can do that. Courage inspires people. Heart inspires people. Knowledge sometimes confuses people. Limits their self-esteem, makes them think they don't have enough. The only thing that you don't have enough of is time. That's it. You got enough knowledge now. You got enough consciousness, but you don't have enough time. You got to exercise that right now while you can. You can't look back. You can't look too far forward. You have to get centered in the moment of being able to make that change happen. No movement exists longer than 60 seconds. So I don't care about nobody's goddamn movement. Movements are like fashion trends. They come and go. Today is a movement.
All right.
By me saying movements are only 60 seconds, I'm not saying movements are irrelevant. We're saying this 60 seconds is a movement.
All right.
And every movement came from 60 seconds of 60 people being in a room and deciding what we're going to do right now. And not as councils and organizations, but people who man up and stand up to what they're going to have to do. That's a fact. They're willing to go out and stand up to the challenge that has to happen. They're not making any more excuses. And they're willing to stand up and show power. And stand up and show who they are. And that changes the community. Otherwise, they're coming for us anyway. They're coming at us through child support. They're coming at us through DCFS because we want to give our children vegetables and don't want our children in their schools. They're coming at us through the public school system. They're coming at us through the abortion clinics. They're coming at us in the foods that we eat. Some of us, they're just locking up. Some of us, they're giving medication to us that's killing us. Do you hear me? Some of us, the media is just killing our damn mind and we just going crazy. They're coming at us anyway. We don't have a lot of time. We're going to stand up there and you never going to stand up. Your time is coming. think that there's something special about you, the only opportunity for something special about you is you're going to stand up harder than they did. Otherwise, your fate will be the same. No question about it. Clearly, your fate will be the same as them. We think we live in a world where it's kind of objective to us because the media has desensitized us. We watch the news like it's just TV. We watch our news feed on Facebook like it's just television. Like it's not really happening to us. When is your day coming? When is it going to hit home? When is it going to be your cousin, nephew, sister, uncle?
Come on, talk about it.
When is it going to be you? So we are desensitized. So we have seen so much of it, so we don't even believe it's reality. We think we're watching a Hollywood movie. But every time a police car passes you, you're having a rendezvous with your destiny. Do you hear me? Every time they pass you, you're within a statistical probability of your destruction and your demise. This is a reality. We talk about black on black violence and black on black crime. And I don't want to be too long, but I want to be strong. We talk about black on black violence and black on black crime. That's because we won't stand, we won't get into the streets and shift their paradigm. We won't come together as men and stand up to them and show them what being a man is. And show them what principles to stand for. Because we're so busy with our capitalism and our consumerism.
What?
You know why they're so strong in the Saudi company and Iraqi countries? Because they go out as men and mobilize and put all the other men on what they're supposed to be about and what's supposed to be going on. But here in America, we focus on our 9-to-5 jobs. We focused on getting money. We focused on capitalism. We focused on consumerism. So we can't go and have a presence in our community. We have a fatherless community. Not because we don't have fathers, because each man don't realize that it's their responsibility to be the fatherhood of the nation.
Come on.
Do you hear me? Because they're being the child of capitalism. We're the breast children of capitalism, and we don't want to get off the breast of the white man. We're going to suck it on our way out. Do you hear me? So you can't be a man when you're constantly breastfeeding off another. You can't. So by the time we get off from work, everything's already went down. Old ladies robbed, houses stolen, houses broken into, youth shot in the streets, more ignorance. Because we ain't been there, we ain't been present. And everything we get from them, they take it from us. You buy a house, foreclosure. Miss a rent payment, eviction. All your stuff in storage, gone. Stuff threw away. How many times you can have your stuff over and over again? And you didn't have to lose it? What's the value of the stuff? So you mean to tell me you've been working and living for all this stuff and it's been distracting you from your responsibility of being a man of principle and integrity within your own community? Your stuff that you are losing is going to distract you? Because every time black people start to do something in the community and start to get to success, the white man changes the rules. Am I right? Every time he starts doing something, he changes the law. He changed the codes. He changed his zoning. Just when you think you got it, we finally got our community, gentrification kicks in. So we are running a rat race for him instead of taking that time and energy and putting it into developing and building our own community. The issue of black on black crime with the youth in our neighborhood is a need for more presence of black men within our community that stand for something. We can't keep being cowards. We can't keep being deep cowards that only want to be among those that have the same rhetoric that we have. We can't just want to be with a think tank with those that have the same ideology we have. We have to be willing to go among those that we need to make a point to through our example that we lead. And more of that need to be done. Way more of that need to be done. We need to start mobilizing in our community. And not just for the issue of dealing with police brutality, but showing our community we stand for something. Because when the entirety of our community begins to stand for something, there will be no more police brutality. Even the Black Panthers can't save a community that doesn't stand for nothing. Am I right? No army can stand for a community that don't stand for nothing. Matter of fact, if that community don't stand for nothing, they'll run your ass up out of there too. So we need to put the example of standing for something in our very own community and exemplify that. And that itself will lead to change in our community. Because it'll be like the 100 monkey syndrome. They'll all pick up that solidarity and begin to act that solidarity out. That'll change our community. Us presenting solidarity, not us being reactionary to the white man. Because he can't do nothing to us once we come into the power of who we are. He does what we allow him to do by not stepping into the totality of who we are. When we step into that as a community, like the sister said, stop calling the police. Stop calling the police. Stop worrying for remove the paradigm from your mind
Say it again.
that the police is even necessary or significant.
Right, say it again.
Get rid of that. So not calling them is just not enough if you the police yourself.
Right.
You got some black people that just so self-righteous
Come on.
that they'll kill you faster than the damn police.
Come on with it.
I'm from Chicago. We got police of all types.
All right.
The gangs are nothing but a form of the police. And what they enforce is they drug territory in the game the way they want to play. That's the problem. So we don't need to become another police among ourselves and keep that mentality of self-hatred among one another. What we need to do is to come out of that entire paradigm and find alternative ways to perceive ourselves and what we do that are not destructive against us. Do you hear me?
That's right.
So we need to have a paradigm shift, a consciousness shift, where now we can evaluate the situation in our community in a way that works for our progress. We say even somebody that's worth a murder, they commit a murder in our community, we call the police. But when a white man kills one of us, we don't call the police on the police, because ain't no police we can call on the police. Do you see the imbalance in our perception of our own paradigm?
That's right.
That has to change. We need to reperceive everything we do, because your community will never change if you keep looking at it through the lens of the white man. That's why you call the police, because you look at it through the lens of the white man. You look at it through the lens of the black man, you have a different understanding.
There you go.
And the situation will reveal itself to you in a way that will be compassionate and that will bring about your result. We got people addicted to crack, and we got people addicted to the cracker. People addicted to the cracker is worse. Because people have been doing coca leaf long before white imperialism. The white man is the one who manipulated coca leaf to crack. Am I teaching? So it's not the crack we need to get off. We need to get off the cracker. Huh? Because the cracker knows how to use dope money in order to build a regime of tyranny on the black community.
Come on with it.
Am I right?
Come on with it.
He says you're selling drugs illegally, but he takes the same dope money and uses it in order to enforce imperialism and tyranny on the black community.
Come on. Come on with it.
Huh? So our whole paradigm about what's going on in our community needs to change. You can't have a paradigm of your enemy and think you're going to get rid of him, because he's filling a space.
That's right.
He's filling a space in your consciousness where you're calling for him. It's like supply and demand. But when you get him out of your mind, you'll get him out of your goddamn behind. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
We got to get the white man off our mind. We have to have a paradigm shift from the way we see our community. Because the way we see it, he has a right to be there. Our elders think they need him. They feel the community is safer with him. And if he continues to stay there, nobody else will grow up to be an elder. They will be the last of our elders. Clearly. This is a fact. So the paradigm of the way we see our youth and the way we see our community, the fear that we have of ourselves, needs to change. We're too fearful of each other. The black on black violence is nothing but black on black fear. Because we have the white man's mind. We are afraid of ourselves as a white woman walking down the street grabbing a purse. Am I right? We have the same fear. That's what keeps them there, and they play off of our fear, and they act like they are our savior and they are our salvation. So on one breath you got people saying, oh, we need to remove the police, we need to get them out of our community. But on another day, they're saying they're scared of black people. They're scared of the youth in their community. They're scared of their own neighborhood. They're scared to go outside. That's because of the paradigm. So we got to turn off the white man's media and TV. Because his media is what's indoctrinating us to have the perception that we have of our people. And as long as you have that perception, you will be working against yourself, clearly. There's no doubt about that. Our paradigm of ourselves has to change. Not only do we have to stop calling the police, our concept of jurisprudence has to change. Our concept of law has to change. Because now we see our people sitting in jail for life. When the real oppressor is free on the land, talking about the land of the free and the home of the brave. And for us, it's the home of the slaves. He's killing, murdering, selling drugs in the pharmaceutical industry and having a good time.
That's right. That's right.
And in our society, a nigga can't do nothing and he got a life sentence.
Started.
Do you hear me?
Started.
And we feel justified with that. Because we don't have forgiveness. I'm about to go in now. I'm about to preach to y'all now.
Come on, get it to us.
Y'all don't want to hear this. Y'all just want to hear some radical shit. But I'm telling you, we need more forgiveness within our own community. We have forgiven the white man more than we will forgive our brothers and sisters. We will forgive Whitey, who put us through 400 years of slavery and have us in the condition of the stuff that we're doing to each other today. He is the cause of it. Yes, we can change it and the responsibility is in our hands, but to deny him as being a cause is to be a fool. Because you can't solve a situation until you diagnose the cause.
All right, all right.
That's a fact. Don't talk about that, we need to get over that. No, if you don't solve it, then you end back up in the same situation.
That's right.
So you have to critically analyze the situation that you're in order to get out of it. We forgive the white man for 400 years of slavery. Every time we see police that shoot us down in the streets and lock up our uncles, cousins, and nephews, we forgive them for what they're doing. I see them at festivals and I'm like, you done locked up somebody and took somebody's damn freedom away and you walking around here like what?
Yes.
Some political prisoners in jail that you put the handcuffs on and you walking around here like what? Some people said, oh, there's plenty of spooks to sit by the door. Then cut your damn throat by the goddamn door. Huh?
That's right.
We got to get out from by his goddamn door and quit being the white man's spooks and step up and be black gods.
That's right.
Huh? Blow up the goddamn door. Shouldn't be no more white doors to stand by no goddamn door.
That's right. That's right.
We keep making too many excuses. But I see them walking around in our communities with pride and dignity and valor, and they're taking us down in our community, and we just allow it. And we forgive them. But we can't forgive the person that we call the police on. There's nothing that you cannot forgive a black person of. Ďaєaત. Repeat that after me. There's nothing that I cannot forgive a black person of.
There's nothing I cannot forgive a black person of.
There's nothing that I cannot forgive a black person of.
There's nothing I cannot forgive a black person of.
Police make mistakes, kill black people in the streets, and you know why they get off? Because the police department forgives them. They have stronger integrity than we have. While we are rallying against them and marching against them, we need to learn something from one of the most powerful institutions in America and in the world. Integrity. We need the same or stronger integrity. Do y'all hear me?
Oh yeah.
They will not take each other down for nothing. I'm hearing stories about police officers charged with rape and charged with molestation and assault, and they're working right back on the damn force. There's nothing that they cannot do that will break the integrity of their institution. And until we can build an institution that's strong and powerful, we'll continue to be victims of white supremacy.
Come on now. Give it to us.
Do you hear me? We got to stop playing the victim role and start studying the strategies and tools of the victors. And then we will have victory. And that's what black supremacy is about before I end this long discourse. Black supremacy is about us understanding how we're going to be the victors. The science of victory. Coming into the supremacy of who we are. For some people, the word supremacy bothers them. I have weak Negroes talking to me, talking about, why are you talking about supremacy? Isn't that racism? I said, well, go tell the white man's Supreme Court that that's racism. Because you don't have a problem with him using it. Huh? How many justices sit on the Supreme Court and how many of them are black? The majority of them are white. That's white supremacy. So tell them you have a problem with them being supreme. Don't tell your black liberator that you have a problem with being supreme. That's what black supremacy is about. It's about us stepping up into who we are. We acknowledge what we went through. We acknowledge the oppression. But when do we begin to transform ourselves into gaining the type of success that we want? When do we stop complaining and start coming plain? When do we stop that and come into the power of who we are? When do we say we're not going to spend no money with the white man? When do we say we're not going to pay his rent no more? When do we do it? The black supremacists are doing it. We're doing it today. We got a community that we're setting up as Blacktown. We're taking over forests and beginning to set up our own encampments. We're taking back the land. We're doing it. But we're not leaving our people out because there's no utopia without total and absolute black liberation. That's why I come down here in the West End. I live off the grid. I don't deal with what this white man has got going on here. I've learned how to live off the grid. But I come down here because I love the people. And it's for the people. But we need to get into black supremacy. Don't be scared to be supreme. Because until you can have an idea of supremacy, then you'll continue to let the guilt concept of white supremacy continue to imprison you. You are imprisoned by the guilt consciousness of white supremacy. We talk about white guilt, but we never talk about black guilt. Black guilt is more predominant than white guilt. That's why we allow ourselves to be policed. That's why we allow our brothers and sisters and uncles to spend their life in prison and we don't think nothing about it but to send them a ladder, a kite. Because we have a deep sense of black guilt. The nigga is guilty when he get out of the womb. And the darker you are, the more charges you got. Black guilt has to be destroyed. And black supremacy destroys black guilt.
That's right.
How many Jews did Hitler have to kill to try to create a strong Germany? How many Germans do you feel was guilty about it? Do you hear me? Why are you guilty about what you're going to have to do for your empowerment and your liberation? We always got to make excuses to white people. Oh, we not really racist. We not really this. We whatever, but any means necessary. And if we got to be a racist to liberate our people, I'm a goddamn racist and I hate the damn guy. By any goddamn means necessary. So if I got to be a racist, then damn it, I'm a racist. But then we get guilty. I love all people and I don't want to be like the enemy was. But you envy what the enemy has when you go to Walmart and Target and you go to Spiegel and Macy's. Say I don't want to be like the enemy is. But when I talk about black supremacy, you say I don't want to be like the enemy is. When I talk about capitalism, you say I want to be like the enemy is. How convenient. That's a contradiction. If you're going to give up the enemy, then give up trying to be like him. Give up his cars, his Lexuses, his clothes, his suit and ties, his school. Give up all this goddamn shit. Don't just say when I say about black supremacy, we don't want to be like the white man. Too late. You're already like the white man. Look at yourself. You're not speaking your language or your culture, nothing like that. If you lust after the world of the white man. That's a fact. So when I mention black supremacy, you should say, well, let me get the best of what the goddamn white man had, which is supremacy in America. Am I teaching? You're not talking about governing your own people. See, supremacy guarantees that you can do it. Everything else is begging. When you become supreme, you have no other excuse than what you can implement in the world. Everything else is begging. The Supreme Court is in a position to say, this is the final ruling, am I right? Well, what does this black supremacist have a ruling to say? Until you become supreme, you are not worthy to bring into the world what you're saying. There's other ideologies and doctrines and ideas that are greater than what you have. You accept that. When we say black supremacy, there's no race, no man, no ideology, or nothing on this planet higher than us. And that's the only reason you cannot rule us. If we are supreme, how can you rule us? When you say, I don't want you to rule me, I don't want you over me, I don't want you to tell me what to do no more, by default, I am saying that I am supreme.
That's right.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
The police pull you over, you know, a lot of youth today, when they get in confrontation with the police, they say, I don't want to do nothing you say, leave me alone, I don't want to be bothered with what you have, fuck you. One cop I saw, one brother I saw on YouTube the other day, for World Star Hip Hop, the cop pulled him over, started to ask him questions and investigate him. He just drove off with the door open and drugged the goddamn cop. When you say you don't want to bow down to the white man, you saying you're supreme. Because who should you bow down to then?
That's right. Come on now.
Nobody? Then you're supreme. But they gave you a religion to tell you to bow down and turn the other cheek and be submissive. Every religion teaches you to submit. Assalamu alaikum means peace, submission. Christianity means peace, submission. Buddhism means peace, submission. Every damn religion has taught you to bow down to the goddamn white man.
Come on now.
Only till you step up and be black and supreme, where you can put this devil in this goddamn place. That's a reality. So don't be afraid of supremacy. We've been evolving of that. We've said black power for a long time. We've been evolving towards supremacy. How can somebody who teach you, you are the original people, you are the gods of the earth, you built the pyramids, how can they say you did all this, you got the highest DNA, the highest melanin, right? You're the original man of the planet Earth, the oldest bones are yours, the oldest anthropology are yours, and have a problem when I say black supremacy. They've been teaching it long enough, all the time. They're just not unapologetic. They don't have the balls or the kahunas in order to just come out and say, goddamn it, black supremacy. I'm making a long story short. You can read Chancellor Williams' Destruction of Black Civilization. That's a long-ass book. I'm going to short it for you. Black motherfucking supremacy. That's all they're saying. You might be retarded or autistic or Down syndrome. You might have 2 more days to live. So I'm going to make it quick for you. Black supremacy in this motherfucker, man.
Straight like that.
Simple. Real simple. And then yes, you can go and do the study and do the research on it. But a lot of times when a scientist does his experiment, he usually starts off with a hypothesis.
That's right.
So he knows where he's going by the time he gets to his theory. Am I correct?
Right.
So your studying should become from the point of your hypothesis. What's your hypothesis? Hypothesize that you're black and supreme.
That's right.
Do you hear me? And your scientific conclusion will prove that out. So don't be afraid of black supremacy. Last and not least, black leadership. You got some clowns out here today. saying we don't need no black leader. Some silly Negroes. Oh, we don't need no black leader. We are all leaders and we need a race of leaders and blah, blah, blah. You a damn fool. You wouldn't know what you know if it wasn't for black leaders.
Come on, man.
When in Africa have we ruled and not had a black leader?
Come on.
Don't the black white man vote for a white leader or a white supremacist leader in a black face every 4 years? They say, oh, we don't have no leaders. We don't need no leaders. Didn't Chairman Mao in communism, didn't he overthrow and instill communism? Was that a Chinese leader? Fidel Castro, is that a Cuban revolutionary leader? Che Guevara, a Cuban revolutionary leader? Is Mugabe a revolutionary leader? Was Mandela a revolutionary leader? Was Winnie Mandela a revolutionary leader? Today we don't need revolutionary leaders? How silly. But the problem is when you get a revolutionary leader, he's not the leader you resist and you fight against his wisdom, his knowledge, and what he brings to the table. But when they raid you, everybody points who the leader is. How contradictory. We don't need no leaders. We are all the leaders. But it's funny how Dr. Malachi York was the only one that went to jail. We don't need no leaders. It's funny how Yahweh ben Yahweh was the only one to go to jail.
That's right. Come on, drop that now.
So how come we don't need no leaders, but a leader is up doing the bid?
That's right.
Come on. How many Mumias is there in the streets right now?
Not too many.
Asada Shakors.
Too many.
That's a fact. We say we don't need no leaders. Just not the case. It's contradictory.
That's right.
Those who are going to stand up and stand in a firm position in order to lead us to victory, we cannot go without it. Without it, it's cycle battle. Everybody just sitting at a panel, I got this information, I got this knowledge, and arguing and debating, and we go nowhere. Only a firm leader that is triumphant in his consciousness can lead us to victory. Just like Shaka Zulu, just like Mansa Musa, just like Susanna Lobacha. Do you hear me? The Haitian Revolution, leaders. Only leaders can lead us to victory. Hannibal, we need leaders today. They want to confuse us and tell us we don't need leaders. And we just all arguing and debating and we have no change in our society. We would have had a civil rights movement that somebody stepped up and be the leader.
That's right. That's right.
He had councils behind him. You know, he had people working with him. But we need a strong and firm leadership to get to where we're going. So I want to tell you today, we need black leadership today. Don't be afraid of black leadership. Because you accept white leadership every day. You see the police in your community? Every white man is a leader in our goddamn community. Do you hear me? Your white landlord, leader. Your white boss at work, leader. The head of the corporation or franchise you work, leader. The head of the bank you use, white leader. You got every white man is a leader to you. Goddamn it, accept one black leader if you can. Huh? Light-skinned versus dark-skinned. I'm going in on y'all today. Brace yourself, please. Please brace yourself. Melanin, goddamn it, supremacy. Melanin supremacy. It bothers people. When you look at all of Africa, if I go to Zimbabwe right now, and I see somebody that's in power, that's light, bright, and damn near white, I'm going to question what's going on in Zimbabwe.
That's right.
Am I right?
That's right.
If I go to South Africa, and I see somebody ruling that's light, bright, and damn near white, I'm going to have a problem.
That's right.
The predominant tone of black people all around the world is dark melanated. Light-skinned blacks are the minority. Do y'all hear me? It's just a reality. Your leadership should reflect the what? People. That's a fact. If I go to Jamaica and see light leadership, I'm like, what's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. White imperialism.
That's right.
That's what's going on. If a black leader step up and do something, he is a charlatan. Right? If Al Sharpton do something to raise attention to what's going on with Trayvon Martin, he's a charlatan because he raised international attention to black brutality. Jesse Jackson is a charlatan if he raised attention to national attention to black brutality. Farrakhan does nothing but quiet the insurrection, and he's a good black leader. Obama does nothing, but he's a good black leader. If you're a black leader, you're already a charlatan in the dark. If you're a melanated leader. Do you hear me? They say that Al Sharpton is a snitch to the FBI. Now, I don't support the civil rights movement. I don't support begging the white man for nothing. We're going to have to stand up. We didn't beg the white man in Africa for the liberation that we have. We're not going to beg him today. So I don't agree with Al Sharpton on everything. But I can't be mad at him for bringing national attention to the brutality of our youth in the streets. I can't be mad at Jesse Jackson for that. Alex Jones is mad at Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton for that, right?
Yeah.
The white conservatives consider Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson as racist and hate mongers, right? They don't like them. But I, myself, might not agree with them on everything, but I see the attention that they're bringing to the world, to the brutality that's going on in the community. But now we say that Sharpton is a snitch and an informant, but he snitched on the mafia. He didn't snitch on nobody black. You think I give a goddamn about the Italian mafia? Do you hear me? I don't give a damn about no Italian. He can snitch on the entire goddamn Italian mafia all day, just don't snitch on nobody black. That's not enough for me to disqualify him. For me, that's a fact. So we say Jesse Jackson killed King. Really? Conspiracy theory. You got to find something wrong with black, but people will jump off a damn bridge for Barack Obama. A mulatto, light-skinned Negro. This is the reality. They will jump off a damn bridge, and he's done less than Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton. But you cannot say nothing negative about Obama. Do you hear me? What's wrong with that? Dick Gregory ran for president. Did he get it? Jesse Jackson ran for president. Did he get it? But we got a light-skinned president, don't we?
That's right.
I'm just dealing with the reality. Now, we won't get rid of white imperialism until the melanated person is in his place.
That's right.
Do y'all hear me? They don't want to talk about that in the conscious community. That's a very controversial subject matter. But the melanated people are the ones that are being treated the worst. The melanated man in America. Do you hear me? They're being treated the worst. Was Trayvon Martin light or dark? What about Eric Garner? Mike Brown? Walter Scott? Freddie Gray? Do y'all see a consistency here? They're killing the black male. So the melanated male. So how does light-skinned people in power in America represents black liberation? Do y'all hear me? When we want black liberation, we must want it for all people. No light-skinned person has power in America. I'm about to give it to you today. No light-skinned person has black power in America. Any light-skinned person in a position in America has white power. Do y'all hear me? They have a privilege in what? Extra privilege in this society. If we want black power, a revolution means a complete constructive change. That means it goes from white power to what? Black power. The red, black, and green flag. Is it red, light-skinned, and green? Talk to me. Talk black to me. Is it red, light-skinned, and green? Or is it red, black, and green? Teach. The conscious community have got that very twisted. Very twisted. I heard the brother in the Nation of Islam, Brother Philip Muhammad, with the lions out the cage, admit that and be proud that there is a light-skinned code, a light color code in the Nation of Islam. All of our leaders that they let to get up. Jeremiah Wright, Obama's pastor, light-skinned. Huey P. Newton, light-skinned. Farrakhan, light-skinned. Let's keep going on the list. Malana Karinga. Call them out. Huh? Elijah Muhammad. Even Malcolm X. The dark ones, nobody practically knows. Marcus Garvey, just waking up people to him. Noble Jew Ali. The true head of the Rastafari movement, Leonard P. Howell. Never heard of him. The Gangang Guru. Never heard of him. Taught Bob Marley how to play. Peter Tosh. But it's Bob Marley. Never deal with Peter Tosh. Let's keep going. The list goes on. We got light-skinned supremacy in our community. In the conscious community. You got people that talk about black is so powerful and black being Egypt and black doing that, but they won't even respect the goddamn black man. Today, how you gonna worship me in Egypt, my big nose, kinky hair, melanin skin, but look down upon me today? How is that possible? So your events have become more about making money off the idea of blackness than respecting blackness in your very presence that is in front of you. This is a reality. That hurts some people. But we all will be under imperialism until the melanated man comes back into power. Notice I didn't say the melanated woman. Another subject. I didn't say the melanated. The melanated woman is in power. The mammy slave. We have a matriarchal society in our community. Do you hear me? Our society works for what? The black woman. 911 was not created for the black man in our community. So the black woman called. She got the jobs, the benefits, right? The college, the education. Women prisons ain't filled up like the black man in prison. Health care for the children, homeless shelters for the children, Section 8. They got everything for the black. It's comfortable for the black woman, am I right? It's a matriarchal society. Why should they have a revolution if it's so comfortable? Seeing their sons die in the street is not enough to give up their queen size bed. To get out and march. To get out and stand up for black people. Today, with the Black Lives Matter, we see a change coming. We see a lot of women that are mobilizing in the streets. But the black man has to come to power. You can't have some lesbian woman stand up and talk about black male lives matter to me. Do you hear me? And you put the white man's nuts in your mouth.
That's right.
You can't do that to me. You can't pull that one up on me. Don't say Black Lives Matter and you don't have no respect and love for the black man that brought you into this world. Don't work. Say bisexual lives matter. Say lesbian lives matter. Say black lesbian lives matter. Went to the Black Lives Matter speech, wasn't nothing women was speaking. If you care about black men, let the black man speak, goddammit.
That's right.
Let the black man get up and speak. And don't show me no old feminized, weak-ass black man up there. Let a real black man get up there and like fire this goddamn white person. So the black man has to come into power. We have a movement in the conscious community talking about the black woman is God. And we didn't blew the black woman's head all up. But everywhere in Africa, every kingdom that we have ruled, the black man has ruled those societies. You can have matriarchal communism, right? But you can only have black patriarchal nationalism. Today we have black matriarchal communism, just women in society. The board of directors and all the women are working together, the chairmen and all that, right? They work together with the institution of white supremacy in order to organize our community. The board of education go to the schools and go to the meetings and things like that to work with the institution of white supremacy. So we have matriarchal communism. When are we going to have black patriarchal nationalism? Quit talking about you Afrocentric and you love Africa, but you can't deal with black patriarchal nationalism. We was once kings in Africa, we was once queens. Those queens were the kings. What part of African history are you not studying and reading? We talk about the black woman being God. To not, as men and women, to not have respect for the black man. I'm going in now.
Come with it.
When the black man comes with the fire, you say, brother, don't you know the black woman is God? I say, yeah, my mother was God. She put me up for adoption, so I guess I was abandoned by God. I guess in the abortion clinic, she's playing God by killing all the children that are being born constantly. Huh? I'm keeping it real with you. The black woman is divine. But the situation of the worst is not going to change until those in the worst stand up. Who's in the worst in America? We can't allow, ain't nobody comfortable going to lead a revolution. The revolution has never been waged by the comfortable. It's been waged by people on the bottom that don't have nothing, the poor, the destitute, those without, those that are filling up the prison colonies, those that are being racially profiled, those that are statistics are the ones that will make revolution. And those are the ones that you have to back. You have to back that. our women in this society need to bag the black man coming back into power. See, I have an unpopular message. That's why y'all ain't hear about me, because I have a whole, y'all ain't hearing this message. Y'all got a whole watered down, make you feel good message that's not going to change our condition. I'm giving you a solid message in order to change your condition. The black man is going to have, a revolution means the black man comes back into power. The white man rules now, what happens if it's a complete revolution? Who's in power? Come on. So what you talking about? You ain't talking about no revolution if you're not talking about the black man coming back to power. You're not talking about until Trayvon Martin come back to power, him not get shot down in the street. Until Freddie Gray come back into power. Am I right? So that has to be addressed. Once the melanated man come back into power, even the light among us will have black power. Do you hear me? You cannot have black power in a society that is not based on black rulership. Any power that anything that you think is power is white privilege. Do you hear me? When black melanated people come back into power, light-skinned people in our race can then have black power. And today, they got the excess dribblings of white privilege. That's a fact. So you got to stop getting intimidated. The same person that's talking about the murder of black people need to stop is intimidated to see black men in power. When we come back into power, we're called gangbangers. Am I right? We consider gangs. When we started to go into our streets and take back our streets and rule our community, we consider gangbangers. Because they're intimidated by what? Black males coming back into power. The white man is intimidated by that. That's his biggest fear, is that the black man come back to power. He's not scared of the black woman coming out into power. You better be careful though, because that mayor in Baltimore did a fake little indictment, right? But they'll probably get off from that like they continue to do. But they can trust the black woman. She's getting a lot from this society. She's in the bed with them, literally. But when we come back into power, it's over with for them. It's over with for their reign. So when the conscious community is going to have to flip. It's going to have to turn into true melanated law and melanated supremacy within our community. Now, a brother asked me, he's saying, are you saying that white people are inferior because you're saying that? Absolutely not. All black people are inferior into America until we establish black leadership. If the white man puts a light-skinned person in power in Zimbabwe, are we going to go and look at that leader as a representative of black rulership or neo-colonialism? Thank you. How many neo-colonials do we have in America? Come on. I'm just telling you the truth. When black men get into power, the melanated man, then he can put the light-skinned people in power that he wants. Am I right? And the white man don't have to do it. That's a fact. Because the ones we got today have been given to us by what? Our master. They've been given to us by our master. Every single one of them. That's why they don't do our business. They say Obama is for us. But if he was for us, what would he do? He would already sign reparations. He would already grant clemency to every political prisoner. He would already gave Native Americans back the land that the white man took for them literally. Am I right? Wouldn't he have already done these things? But he has done none of them. Why can't he be bold? It's hard to be black and bold when you ain't black and bold. Do you hear me? You can't expect it. There must be a reinstitution of black rulership in our community. We must accept it. Black rulership, the idea of itself, overthrows white supremacy. You can't overthrow white supremacy without an idea to replace it. They say, what's going to be the end game? What are we going to do once we rally and what's going to be the end game? What is the end game? It better be black rulership. It better be us ruling. What type, the brother tell me, because he was so deep, he said, what type of system are you going to have when you overthrow white supremacy? I said, one where Freddie Gray and Trayvon Martin aren't going to be killed. I don't give a goddamn about nothing in nobody else. Ain't we been killed long enough? We keep worrying about some goddamn body else. What about the hippies and the good white people? I don't give a goddamn. Let us get justice first. Right? We've been killed for too long and murdered for too long to be continuously worried about other people. Oh, we're going to create a better, just world than white men. We're going to do exactly what the white man did, create a world that's just us. Do you hear me? Just us. And if we get a few scrappings of humanitarianism, you know, oh well. But if he don't, black supremacy will be instituted in this society. But you're going to be like Hitler when you talk about doing this? I'm going to be like any goddamn means necessary. Do you hear me? That's a fact. Because even though they said, well, was Germany successful with what it did to the Jews? I don't see no German too happy to go over there, no Jew too happy to go over there and be in Germany. They still piling up in Israel. So I think I think Hitler made his point.
Made point.
You know, was there some success in what Hitler did? He got their old hook nose, robbing, stealing, Jew town, father. He ran their ass up out of there, right? What you think we're gonna have to do with our community? We're gonna have to run out the Arab, run out the Chinaman. If you ain't black, you're gonna have to get the fuck back. You're gonna have to run them up out of our community. We're playing games. People talk about capitalism and it's going to be economic empowerment. No such thing. Any product you sell, the white man can sell. Anything you can import, the white man can import. How can you compete with him in a world where he can distribute the same products that you do and have a better opportunity to do it? If I sell curry shells, the white Freddie got curry shells. I got curry shells too. I got shea butter. Susie got shea butter too. I have shea butter. The Jshiis, I have. Susie has the Jshiis too. Whatever product you can have at a vending table, the white man can have at the vending table, right?
White people at the Martin Luther King Festival this weekend.
Come on. Every product that you sell, the white man can sell. The only thing that you had that the white man cannot have is melanin. So you better have goddamn it melanin supreme. Is that not clear? So how can you have economic empowerment? He controls the Federal Reserve banks, and you still paying taxes to him and building up. You paid for Freddie Gray's death. You paid for Mike Brown's death through your taxes. The black business person paid for it when he paid his taxes. I'm not going to be a part of nothing that pays for the death of black people.
Come on, come on.
Do you hear me? But those people that looted and robbed them stores, they didn't pay for the death of Mike Brown. They stole back what was theirs. They took back what was theirs. That's the reality. So I'm telling you today that our militancy is going to be the way that we get to where it is that we're going. We're going to have to be militant. We're being killed off. Some people saying, oh, they're going to just kill us off fast and just drop a bomb in our community. But what does it matter if they kill you off when you're experiencing a slow death in white supremacy? Because we all dying slow. We think that we were stripped of our culture 400 years ago. Do you hear me?
Come on with it.
You still being stripped, my brother and my sister. You think it stopped 400 years ago?
No.
Another 400 years from now, you won't even recognize yourself at all. Do you hear me? There's certain tribes of people that don't even recognize themselves in their culture anymore. They don't even know what it was. Go to some of the Native Americans and see if they recognize who they are. We, as African Americans, we have some implements or inklings of our culture left. That's why we can be Afrocentric, right? That's why we can be nationalistic. That's why we can have events like this. But don't take it for granted. Another 400 years from now, everybody will be sitting up here with perm on. Do you hear me? What's going to keep it alive? You are still being bleached out. It hasn't stopped. You think that's a thing of the past? With the new media and propaganda and advancement of technology, we think it's a benefit for us. But it's also a benefit for him to have superior techniques in order to get you under mind control. Do you hear me? I remember on TV, you watch a commercial every now and then. But now you're on YouTube, it's a commercial after commercial. It's like 50 commercials. And it's a commercial on the page that you own, along with the commercials that you got. And don't get a damn virus on your computer. Now you got commercials just popping up and pop-ups and extra windows with more programming. So now he has a more superior machine of manipulation. So you think your culture has been stripped of you 400 years ago? Your culture is still being stripped from you today. It's being taken from you right now. So you're fighting to maintain even what you got while you're worried about what you lost in the past. A lot of what we lost in the past, we're not going to get back. That's why we keep arguing who we are. Are we a Hebrew? Are we a Muslim? Are we from this tribe? Where we're from Africa? You lost it. Fight for the black you got left right now. Do you hear me? That's like somebody who got their arm cut off. And they're still fighting over that arm that's gone. You better use the arm you got right now. Do you hear me? We done made white publishing companies rich, looking for lost information that's locked inside of our DNA right now. We done made white publishing companies rich, and it is in our DNA. What's the original religion of the black man? His mind and his consciousness. Travel every part of Africa. What do you find? Somebody who thought and came up with a culture and an idea of God and African cosmology. Did the mind that come up with that die? Do you still have the black mind that invented all religion and culture? So why are you so busy still looking to the past? The same black African mind and consciousness that created all that is sitting right here in the room today. But you will become 90 years old till you figure that out. How old was Tutankhamun when he ruled?
Like 6.
Huh? How old was the pharaohs or the Paharus when they ruled? Here it is, some of us are too goddamn old. We done made too many excuses. And they were ruling. How many books did they read to rule? See, our low self-esteem is so deep that now we have Afrocentric overcompensation. Because that is low self-esteem. We got the arm, leg, and arm. We got the melanin. We got the ability. We got the reaction time, the flexibility. It's all inside of our DNA. We got the consciousness. It's all there. But we got so low self-esteem that we got to read every law book in the United States of America to even begin to believe we just have it right. Ain't that ridiculous? Everything that our ancestors built, the mind that they built it out is with us today. And we didn't need no white man to build it. Do you hear me? Today, well, you got to get the white man's education and use it against them. You got to go to the white man's schools and use that knowledge, right? Why none of those before us use that knowledge? Take your time now. Why do we have to go to school and go to the white man's education system? And those before us that got an education, our forefathers, our parents and grandparents, what did they do with the white man's education? White supremacy. What you think we're going to do with it? That's a fact. That's a fact. You can judge a tree by the fruit that it bears. Well, now you think you're going to get the white man's education and he's so dumb that he's not going to slip into mind control for you not to use it for your people? You think he that stupid as a world power? If you give his education, he's going to make sure he slips some in your drink. Huh? He's going to make sure he put that white chip in you to make sure that you don't use it for your people. We got electricians and carpenters and all that, people sitting in their ass on unemployment and won't use a lick of their skills in order to build a black independent community. Why? Because they've been programmed with that education that they got. To tell them that it's not for money, it has no value to it. The only value of my skill, my trade, is that I can get paid for it by the white man. Other than that, I'm going to sit on my ass and collect unemployment. I'm not going to go to an independent black community and show them how to use my skills, talents, and trades and ability to build their own thing.
Come on.
You got to pay to play. Why? Because they have been programmed. So the white education, when you get the more white man's education you get, the more you're trapped within his system in the matrix. See, the white system is like crack. You just think you can do a little bit of it and you'll be fine. You know, I don't have to do too much of it, but you look up, you're being hooked, and nobody recognizes you again. That's what white supremacy is like. You say, well, I can just get a little education and work a job for a little while. You know, just a little long. You know, I can do this. It ain't gonna hurt nobody. You know, nobody gonna know. It's just small, and then you look up, and you are no damn good to your people. That's what white supremacy is like. It's no excuse. It's no excuse. So the white man's education is not going to save us. And people that freed us in ancient times had less education than we have today. Read less books than we read today. And they were smart enough to free us. And here we are, the smartest idiots ever known on earth. They say, well, we need more education. I've never seen nobody more educated than a political prisoner or somebody who spent a long time in prison. How can something that you can get in prison be so valuable to freedom? Take your time with that. How can something that you can get in prison for free be valuable to your freedom? You can get educated in jail. Look how many educated Negroes in jail. I would dare debate with them. They'll smash me. They have nothing but time to read books and get their GED. Tell me education is freedom? Education is not going to free you. You loving freedom will free you to the sacrifice of any and everything. That's a fact. You're going to have to leave some slaves behind. Some of you, your slavery is trying to save to somebody else. That's definitely going to be a slave to the day they die. They've made that decision. Some of you are going to have to leave some slaves behind. Why are you going to have to leave slaves behind? Because you don't care about them? No, because you want to join the rebellion that's going to destroy the plantation.
That's right. Come on with it.
Do you hear me? Because once you destroy the plantation, it doesn't matter whether they want to leave slavery or not, because the damn plantation has been destroyed.
Right.
Who are you going to be a slave to if I kill your master?
Come on. Come on.
So some of you are going to have to leave slaves behind in order to join the rebellion.
All right.
That's the only way you're going to guarantee freedom. Every slave didn't want to join Nat Turner, but what was they going to do when Nat Turner put that machete to their white man master? Who you going to serve then? Certain Negroes are not going to accept us. Black devils and coons are not going to accept us until we behead their master.
Straight.
Do y'all hear me? That's a fact. They will take the fear of their white Lord Jesus and put that fear and have it on black supremacy. You know, sometimes in warfare, the man would kill his enemy and eat the heart of his enemies so he could take on the power of his enemies. And everybody that feared and was under his enemy now fear him. Some black people are going to be afraid to the day they die. There's no problem with them being afraid. We just need to change who they are afraid of. And they need to be afraid of those who are going to institute freedom and not be afraid of those who are going to keep the entire race oppressed. Do you follow? You're going to have to leave some slaves behind. Trying to save somebody, spending days and months and years talking to somebody that don't give a goddamn what you're talking about. And people that want to hear and are ready to change and learn can't even get to you. Because you're trying to save somebody that don't want to be saved. Some people you're going to have to let go and go to those who want to be saved. Stop letting your knowledge fall on deaf ears. Stop trying to force friends, families, and relatives that don't want to change. And go drop them jewels where they can be best felt. Because somebody's thirsty for liberation. Somebody somewhere is thirsty for revolution. I was. That's why I got to where I'm at today. So you got to spend that time and find those that are thirsty for revolution and liberation. You got to find them. Stop wasting your time on those that say, you know what, I'm going to eat my pork to the day I die. It's not going to work. Some people don't want to change. Some people do. Your discernment is going to be finding those that do. Otherwise, we continue to use those that don't as an excuse to not create the change that we want. And I see a lot of that happening. A lot of that happening. We're going to have a slave rebellion. We're in slavery right now. Everybody in this room is in minimum prison. You got conjugal visits, you got work release. The minute you quit your job, the police will be at your door. Huh? The minute you quit your job. So you're in a jail where you don't see the bars. You're in a plantation where the master just not right up on you. But the less you start submitting and obeying, the more you see master. Just stop cutting your grass because you say, I'm feeling kind of jungle. I don't want to cut my grass this week. Police at your door. Am I right? Can't pay your rent. Miss a month. The police at your door. Quit your job. Wear your afro to work. Fire. Dreadlocks to work. Fire. Some of you are in minimum penitentiary. That's all. Everybody out here is in minimum penitentiary. Because you have to live and follow by the laws that he has. He's created a space for you. It's called consumerism. That's where your freedom can happen at. Anywhere else, move along. How come we can pile up a mall to buy shit, but we can't pile up a street corner to talk about black liberation and knowledge?
Come on.
Because the only place a slave have a right to be is within the consumer paradigm. They're not intimidated by a whole bunch of black niggas in the mall. But stand out on your own block where you pay rent and see how quick you go to jail.
That's right.
Do y'all hear what I'm saying? You in minimum penitentiary. You already are a slave. And some of you don't realize the slavery until you end up in maximum penitentiary. And those that are in jail are really in a form of maximum penitentiary relative to us. You follow? And everybody else is in super goddamn max. That's a fact. You have to be out your house from 9 to 5 if you want to eat. Am I right?
That's right.
You got to go out in the yard. You are under slavery right now. And we filling up the prison populations. They are coming for you. It's not a question of legality and having a good lawyer and rights. They are looking for slaves. And either you are in the business of helping liberate other black peoples and defending the future of your liberation or not. It's about the future of your liberation. For some, this sounds very ideological until they got an orange suit on for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And being black is being in the wrong place at the wrong time in America. Because if you didn't come here on your own, you must be at the wrong place at the wrong damn time.
Come on now.
If you didn't get on the boat willingly, you must have ended up at the wrong place at the wrong goddamn time. So being black in America is being at the wrong place at the wrong damn time. So you are a slave. And it's only a matter of time before you feel the pressure of the plantation closing in on you in your life. Some of us have become runaway slaves. We've mastered it. You call it living off the grid. You call it being independent. You call it survival. I just call it a runaway slave. Because you're still running. Ain't nowhere you can go until white imperialism is destroyed. Till your master's not coming looking for you. You can go out in the middle of butt-fuck nowhere and some white person will just show up out of, hey, how you guys doing? How did he find us in Africa? If we can't hide from him in butt-fuck nowhere in the middle of Africa, where are we going to hide from him in America? If he'll go in the jungles of the Sahara with lions and lizards and snakes and scorpions, where are we going to hide in America, in Atlanta and Georgia? What forest are we going to hide in? So you ain't going to be able to escape having to confront and fight imperialism. You want a garden, the white man going to tell you what type of garden you can and can't have. And it's not till it becomes successful do it becomes illegal. He'll let you do it for a little while. When you start making money for it, he drops license and regulation for it. So what's legal today, I got to drop this on you, will be illegal tomorrow. There is, before I end this and I'm bringing it to a close, I'm going to show you why there's no justice in the white man's system. Because you can fight today against them and they can say, okay, we're going to nationalize the government, which is what they're attempting to do, you know, to put into place with what's happening with Trayvon Martin and Mike Brown situation. They want to call for a nationalization of the police department so that the national government can enforce over the racist local states, right? The local counties and jurisdictions. But the problem is that you will just find the national face of white supremacy. And you're moving towards martial law, and you're moving towards a one world government, and you're giving a different type of white man more power. That's all. They nationalize the government, you'll go from local and state white supremacy to national white supremacy. That's all. So now, some cracker that had a small gun, now all that money to go together to another cracker that will have a bigger gun to check that cracker and check your ass too. That's all that's happening with the national government. But let me show you how there's no justice in the system. If they said, well, we're going to change this time, because they say, you know, you can vote, right? And you need to vote and be active. This is what they tell you. And you put some people in office, and they say, you know what, we're going to do it your way. We're going to change the police department. We're going to put some rules and regulations. We're going to change some legislations and lobby some stuff. And while that person's in office, it's going to go that way. And it might be nice for that little term. But when the next devil is mad at the one that did before him, the nigga that did before him did, he going to turn all that shit around. Am I right? You got a president already trying to come into office that's talking about that he wants to illegalize weed immediately when he gets in office. There's no positive change under white supremacy. Obama said change you can believe in. He should have said change that will be temporary, if any change at all. Because as soon as he get out of there, the cracker gonna go in reverse and undo every goddamn thing that he did. This is a reality. OJ was freed, right? Strangely. But he still ended up in jail ultimately because the system that hate the black man stayed in place. So they still made his ass pay. So my point is that even if the system changed, as long as white supremacy remains, the system is going to go back to the way that it was. It's not going to be no permanent change until white supremacy is completely and absolutely destroyed. Do y'all understand that? Because as long as they can vote and bring it back, because we've regressed. We thought we made progress since the 50s and the 60s, right? But look how we regress. Because the political reality has the ability to regress. It has the ability to go back to where it was, depending on who's in office. So there will never be any justice in that system. Because no man other than you can give you justice, period, until you take justice into your own hands. As long as it's dependent on somebody else, that somebody else can always change hands or change their damn mind. How many of you are happy about people continuously changing their minds about your justice and your well-being? Homeschooling. Illinois, no regulation. Georgia, minimum regulation, right? Other states, moderate regulation. Some more regulation. Detroit, zero regulation. They found some sister that ended up having her children in the refrigerator or some crazy ass shit. And this one case made them start to begin. Now, this one woman made them decide now that they want to start, that homeschooling need to be more regulated. So a freedom that you had in certain states to homeschool your child without being regulated, that was deregulated, is now starting to become regulated. They're starting to push that now, that now you will have to report to the state with your child if you want to homeschool. Now some states, they're already doing that, and some people are voluntarily doing that. But I'm showing you how your rights can fluctuate. No one situation that no human being does, and I'm bringing this to close, should take away your rights. I don't care if Kyiv go shoot up 1,000 people. That should not change my right to have a gun. Do you hear me? I don't care if Kyiv go eat up 100 people for lunch. That shouldn't change my rights. ʟᴏᴅ what's on my dinner table. Do you hear me? So they use these isolated situations in order to make you volunteer. These black 9/11 situations that are conspiratorially orchestrated to make you willingly give up your rights under the auspices of safety, you follow, and a safer world with government invasion and intervention on your affairs. And we accept that because we think we live in a safer world, but we actually give them more power over our well-being in our life by doing that. Justice from them, if any justice from them, is temporary. Until they come out of power, we will not have any unchangeable justice. You know how Mugabe can guarantee justice for the Zimbabweans? He's in power. He nationalized the land and he told those crackers they had to leave because he was in power. So he guarantees justice because he's in power. Do you hear me? And as long as the Zimbabweans believe in